Analysis. Relationship background. This presentation will analyze the relationship between my friend Alexa and I. We became best friends in high school, although we had always gone to school together and known each other. We never had any issues, and we were always great close friends until conflict started to arise as she was in a serious relationship. Our friendship now is a little distant, but we are still great friends, I would say. This presentation will analyze our relationship using the 4 interpersonal relationship concepts that include relational dialectics, social exchange theory, expressive conflict style, and family culture. Rational dialectics. Relational dialectics theory explains how relationships are shaped by ongoing tensions between opposing desires, such as autonomy versus connection or openness versus privacy. One of our biggest challenges was the autonomy versus connection tension. I wanted us to stay as close as we had always been, but after she got into a relationship, she needed more space and time for her boyfriend, and I felt kind of abandoned and confused. She said it was natural for romantic relationships to take priority, but I felt she was pulling away from our friendship in general, and I didn't know how to deal with the emotional distance. Social exchange theory. The social exchange theory posits that people evaluate relationships based on perceived rewards and costs, and they're more likely to maintain relationships where the benefits outweigh the negatives. Over time, I felt the cost of our relationship, I guess you can say, like being ignored or feeling second place to her relationship, started to outweigh the emotional support and fun we used to share. I was making effort to reach out and check in, but she often canceled plans or brushed me off. Eventually, I stopped trying as much because I didn't feel the same emotional effort back. Expressive direct conflict style. So, an expressive conflict style involves openly expressing emotions during disagreements, often leading to intense arguments rather than resolution. So we both had a very expressive style. When I felt hurt, I'd confront her directly and emotionally. For example, I once told her I felt like she dropped me for her boyfriend, and she'd react defensively, saying I was overreacting and it wasn't a big deal. Instead of working through the issues calmly, our conflicts often escalated and left us both upset and arguing. So, family communication patterns, conversation versus conformity orientation. Family communication patterns theory distinguishes between families high in conversation orientation, which encourages more open discussion, and conformity orientation, which stresses uniformity and hierarchy. So, I come from a high conversation orientation family where feelings and disagreements are often talked about openly and expressed. My friend Alexa, however, seemed more influenced by a conformity orientated family where roles and priorities were expected and not questioned. So, this might explain why she didn't see the need to talk deeply about how our friendship changed. She assumed I just understood her priorities without needing to talk about it or any explanation. So, analyzing this relationship helped me see how deeply communication patterns affect closeness, conflict, and even endings in relationships. It wasn't just about what was said, but how we handled tensions, our values, and our emotional needs in general. This project deepens my awareness of how theories apply to real life. I realized that understanding someone's background, attachment style, or communication habits can help prevent misunderstandings. I now feel more prepared to manage future friendships with empathy, balance, and better communication tools. Relational dialectics showed how the push and pull between connection and autonomy strained our friendship. The social exchange theory helped me understand why I stopped putting in effort when the emotional cost felt too high. And expressive conflict style revealed how our intense arguments, though honest, often hurt more than helped. And lastly, family communication patterns explains why we approached communication and loyalty so differently in the situation. So, in conclusion, relationships are complex and constantly evolving, especially when new priorities like romantic partners come into each of our lives. My friendship with Alexa taught me that emotional closeness requires mutual effort, clear communication, and understanding of each other's needs and values as it's different for everyone. Through this analysis, I learned how interpersonal communication theories explain real life relationship dynamics. And moving forward, I'll use what I've learned to navigate friendships more mindfully and think more of the position the other person's in with better awareness of communication patterns and expectations.